Ready?
We should be. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure that it's
Yeah.
not, okay. We are good. All right. Hey, expert authority. This is Nancy and Scott. We are doing a pre-recording of our Monday mindset call. So um, we really want you to, after you watch this training with myself and Nancy, as always, please drop into the comments two different things. Number one, what was your biggest takeaway from today's topic, which is fear of success? And number two, what's the big thing that you're working on this week so you can let the group know? The reason for this pre-recording, full transparency, we had a death in the family, someone very close to myself and Nancy, a friend of ours. And we're going to be obviously on our way to the funeral, unfortunately, at the time of when we were supposed to be doing our Monday mindset call. So to get ahead of it, so we didn't leave you with nothing to watch, we decided to jump on here and do a pre-recording for all of you. So again, we're going to drop this link in the Facebook group, but we're also going to email this out so you guys can watch. But please do comment. And again, those two things, your biggest takeaway from today, and number two, the big thing that you're working on. So as I kind of alluded to, today's mindset training is on the fear of success. And this is such a hot topic, and it's always going to be, because, you know, we're all are in how I feel. And obviously, Nance, I want to hear from you. We're either our greatest asset or our biggest liability. It's the truth, because we are the reason. It's, you know, the whole, oh, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. Like, the blame game stuff has to be flushed down the toilet at this point. We ourselves are either responsible for our greatest successes, and we're equally as responsible for the things that we fail. So, Nance, why has the fear of success been such a hot topic, and how did it come about? You know, obviously, of why we're doing it today.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that obviously it's on my radar very often. Just because, early on when I started, my journey in entrepreneurship, every time I hit a certain point, whether it was monetarily or, the time I was spending on my business, things like that, I would start to get a little fearful that I was falling back into my old ways, working, crazy hours and, having so many different responsibilities that I was getting myself back into that place. And I would get that fear of success, where there's many different ways to build a business, right? And I say this all the time to you guys that, we can put those boundaries in place, right? We can have that schedule where we still have cutoff times. We can still put goals, right? We work 3 days a week now, right? And there's many different things that you can do, especially online and virtually. And ways that you can obviously scale your business and do that. So I just want to remind you of the facts, right? Which is, it doesn't really matter, what kind of business that you're growing or what has happened in the past that might, make you feel certain ways or whatever. It's really about what we can do now, right? And moving forward. So it's like, again, I even found myself cyclically, right? Imposter syndrome, things would pop up. But I really want to bring you guys back to really focusing on the here and the now and what you're going to do to move forward. It's kind of like that. So what now what? Let's keep going forward. Let's control what we can control, right? If we're fearful all the time of all these things, well, what are things that we can do, right, to kind of calm those fears a little bit, right? For myself, I know that one fear that I had whenever I put myself out there as an agency owner was that, oh my gosh, I'm going to get too many clients and it's going to be really rough and, whatever. Well, guess what? You can have a waiting list. You can have a list that people can sign up and, when you're available or have the capacity, they can work with you later. There's different things that you can do. So again, control what you can control. And a lot of the things that you can control, obviously, are the services that you're offering, the products that you're selling, your business, right? The money that you're charging, the effort that you're putting into, building your business. And the other thing that I want to put out there too, because I keep hearing people kind of throw this around there that, oh my gosh, it's a recession and, people aren't spending money on things anymore and this isn't working anymore and so on and so forth. I heard this on a podcast the other day and I just love it. And I'm going to say it again, is there's always a need for things, right? There's always problems that need to be solved and there's always money. Okay. There's always going to be money that's going to show up and that people will have if what you have is going to help them solve their problems and obviously give them so much value. So those are a few things that I really wanted to touch on. I actually also recently I shared in the group, this was, I think, a couple weeks ago. It was a picture that I had hanging in our spare bedroom and I had hung it up and I kind of was like, oh, these are kind of cool. And then I put it in there, but I really looked at it the other day and I'm like, oh, these are so good. And it was 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. And it was from Brene Brown's leadership program. I guess it was something that I had signed up for a while ago. And it was, a whole column. And one side says letting go of, and then the other side says cultivating. So I want to really share this with you guys. And I want to challenge you this Monday and going forward. Here's some things that I want you to let go of. Okay. I want you literally, right, thinking through as I'm saying each of these statements, and I want you to let it go. All right. So number one is what people think, right? We can't control what other people think, but we can control how we react. So let go of what other people think and still be you. Show up as yourself. Okay. Number two is perfectionism. It's never going to be perfect. That video is never going to be perfect. That training video, whatever, it's never going to be perfect. So get yourself out there and keep showing up. Number three, the feeling of numbing and that powerlessness, right? That we can't control things and that, oh, things are always going to be, bad and we're not going to be able to get to where we want to go. Build that resiliency. You have got this, right? You do have power. In fact, it takes all the power in the world to push yourself forward sometimes and get off the couch and, get back to your computer and stay super focused. So you are powerful and you've got this. The next is scarcity and fear of the dark, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of what we don't see or what we know. So we're humans, right? We have fear. All of us have fear, but I want you guys to remember that that's not always a bad thing, right? It's protecting us. It's keeping us, safe in a way. But if we are fearful of everything that's unknown, and especially as we embark on this journey in our business, we've got to still put ourselves out there. We got to keep going. All right. So the scarcity and the fear of the dark, instead, let's replace that with gratitude for where you are and joy and all those wonderful things moving forward. Need for certainty, right? Need for certainty. You're never going to have it. Okay. If you keep getting ready to get ready and you think, oh, is this perfect? Is this, whatever, and having that validation from every other person, it's your business. It's your book. It's your podcast. It is your content, right? We are never going to have certainty.
So the whole getting ready to get ready. So at the time that we're recording this, Nancy and I were on our way way home from visiting my dad. We had some lunch and we were listening to a podcast, and one of the big messages in the podcast is it's not so much getting ready to get ready. It's acting like we're given the unlimited amount of time to do things. Meaning in a couple of months or a couple of years, I'll do this. No one is acting as if life could come to an end at any point. And not weighing this on life or death. But the fact of the matter is, I really want people to just really listen to what Nancy just said, as far as the getting ready to get ready, the failure to launch. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's the truth. If we keep putting off things, it's never going to happen. And the one thing that you don't want to do, and this is Nancy and I talk about this, we love Les Brown. And he always talks about, you never want to tiptoe through life and arrive at your grave safely. You don't want to leave any stones unturned. So just make it, again, with all the things that Nancy has shared with you, and she has a few more she wants to share right now. But out of all the things that she shared, really think about, what am I putting off? What do I continue to put on the back burner that I know if I got it done, it would make such a huge difference in my life and in my business?
True. Right. So the next one is comparison, right? Comparison, what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy, right? It's okay to compare and be inspired and other things, right? But, that's a big one. I like this one, right? Exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth, right? It's important, right, that we're productive. It's important, that we're, working hard in our business, but that is not your worth, right? If you have a day where you guys need to just turn off the TV, turn off the computer, and you just need to take a break, right? It's important to acknowledge those things. Anxiety as a lifestyle. This one hit really hard for me, right? I know quite a few people. In fact, I myself suffer from anxiety, and it can be one of those things that if you lean into it and you have that anxiety and you let it fill you, it can really take over your life. And that comment right there, anxiety is a lifestyle, right? Being aware that that can happen. And obviously just being aware that, instead of going down that route, if you're able to, right, pump the brakes, pull back, and focus on being present, calm, still, right? There's lots of different exercises that you can do. But I think, again, let's let go of anxiety being a lifestyle. Self-doubt and supposed to. Okay. So self-doubt and things that you're supposed to do. Cool and always in control. Let it go. You're not always going to be cool, and you're not always going to be in control, right? How many things in our life do we need to release that control? And sometimes, right, we always call it messy action. We've got to lean into sometimes the uncomfortable. What do you always say, Scott? Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
So those were 10 things. I'm not going to read all the other things, but, just a few takeaways, right? Instead of all those things, right? We want to cultivate, authenticity, a resilient spirit, gratitude, joy. This week and going forward, I want you guys to be present. I want you to be creative. I want you to have faith. I want you to do meaningful work. I want you to laugh, sing, dance, right? I want you to do all these things. So I did post that in the group. So if you guys want to print that or, hang it somewhere, I just think it's such a great reminder for those little things that sneak up on us sometimes. But there's so much wonderfulness, and there's so many little mind shifts, that we can have to keep us, moving forward. So anything else you want to add, Scott?
I think you covered everything, Nancy. So, again, we just wanted to leave you with the understanding that there are so many things that we can dive into when it has to do with the fear of success. But just know that we've been there. Anything that you're feeling right now, anything that's been bubbling up, any noise that's in your head, Nancy and I, and all the people that you look up to out there, they've had the same noise as well. So again, remember, this is going to be emailed out, but it's also going to be posted in the Facebook private group. And we encourage you to do two things. Comment below my biggest takeaway was, and my biggest goal for this week is. And we just want to hear from you. So everyone, love and gratitude. Have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see everybody at the regular times